You know, I was only 13 years old when I first saw the trailer to Bully. I'd only been a teenager for a few months, and I was in the first semester of the 8th grade. Puberty made me kinda awkward, and I couldn't really fit in at school. So in those days, I often turned to media sources to escape the reality around me. I was looking for something I could relate to. I watched John Hughes movies like The Breakfast Club, I read comic books like Ultimate Spider-Man, and I read novels like The Wanderers and The Catcher in the Rye. I didn't really play too many video games back then. However, when I first saw the few seconds of the trailer to Bully, I thought it was just another Grand Theft Auto. But as I kept watching, I saw how young most of the characters were. They were around my age at the time, and like me, they were stuck going to a school they hated. The game seemed so violent and had a rawness to it not seen in most media directed to teenagers. I was immediately attracted to the concept. So of course I had to play the game. While Grand Theft Auto and Bully are in the same universe, they couldn't be more different. Bully doesn't have the same degree of violence as Grand Theft Auto. You can't kill anyone, you can't steal cars, you can't buy prostitutes, you can't do drugs, you can't even sniff glue. But that doesn't mean Bully isn't violent or fun. I remember when I was 13, I played this game until my eyes strained because I had a blast going through it. 14 years later, it's 2020, I still find myself entertained by this game. While Bully is made by the same people who made Grand Theft Auto, it's a lot different, and that's what makes it so fun. It offers a different feel of gameplay and story elements. Instead of a large city like Liberty City or San Andreas, Bully is set in the fictional town of Bulworth, a small town with a bully-infested boarding school called
Bulworth Academy.
Bulworth Academy is a school full of mayhem and mischief. It is divided into 4 major cliques: the jocks, the nerds, the preppies, and the greasers, with the sub-clique made up entirely of bullies. Each clique is run like a violent gang or a small militia, each with its own territory, a commander-in-chief, and each clique has their sworn enemies. Bully is a world of high school stereotypes and teenage cliches, so it's easy to understand why the jocks are cruel idiots who pick on the nerds, and of course the nerds, the lovable geeks that they are, hate the jocks.
Fabulous! I love it when people know their place in life.
Well, your place in life is in my toilet, you trust fund turd.
Do you even have flushing toilets in your trailer? I couldn't imagine it.
Then there are my 2 favorite cliques, the preppies and the greasers. I know it's weird to see guys dressed like they should belong in the 50s walking around like it's normal. That's what I like about Bully, and it adds to the ridiculousness of the game. If you've ever watched the classic movie The Outsiders, then you know the greasers don't get along with the rich kids. Their inherent dislike for each other appears to be based on the difference between socioeconomic class. Also, the leader of the greasers has a girlfriend, and she likes to mess around with some of the preppies. The preppies are ridiculously wealthy, living in the best houses in Bulworth, while the greasers live in the cramped tenements of Old Bulworth. The preppies are spoiled rich kids who aren't above picking on kids poorer than them. They're excellent boxers with a tendency to have romantic relationships with their own family members.
You know, keep up the tradition.
Wait, marry your cousin?
You know, it used to be brother and sister until it was made illegal.
The greasers are tough, poor kids not afraid to fight, and you'll see the 2 cliques have a drawn-out conflict against each other. The students of Bulworth Academy have vibrant personalities, and they have a strong sense of self-awareness. The student body of Bulworth Academy is full of sociopaths, sadists, super geniuses, megalomaniacs, and of course bullies. This melting pot of insane personalities and warring factions brings on constant conflict to Bulworth Academy. The few teachers and authority figures you'll find at Bulworth Academy are extremely corrupt and pleasure-driven. For example, the cook is a filthy, unsanitary beast who isn't above putting a roofie in her crush's drink and having her way with him.
The visions are back! Get back, foul fiends!
Come on, gorgeous. It's about time I show you what I know about chemistry. And a little biology.
There's a perverted gym teacher who encourages bullying.
Ha! Bullying? I don't care about bullying. In fact, I encourage bullying.
That's right.
Builds moral fiber, makes men.
Yeah!
There's a math teacher who sells test answers to students.
I trust you have my fee.
There's an alcoholic English teacher fed up with his life's work.
What kind of monster drinks in front of children?
Parent?
And there's a headmaster who thinks all this is normal.
Nonsense. That's just school spirit. Hijinks. Why, in my day, we felt nothing of castrating the new boy.
With authority figures this corrupt, it's no wonder the students of Bulworth Academy act the way they do.
Don't you lie. Because you know what happens to liars?
No, I'm not lying.
We kick them in the balls!
Who won? Me! Jimmy Hopkins! That's who! Who won?
You...
Who? Jimmy Hopkins.
Correct!
Jimmy Hopkins, age 15, is definitely one of the best characters Rockstar has ever developed. Throughout the course of the game, you'll find he's caring, he's funny, he's a great fighter, he's a ladies' man, except for when he's not. And he's willing to stand up for himself and others from the bullies at Bullworth Academy. The title is misleading in a sense that it might have you thinking Jimmy is the bully of the game. However, once you actually play the game, you'll come to find out Jimmy is actually against bullying.
But I want you to stop bullying weak kids.
Why?
Because there are a bunch of kids around this place who need a beating, and you're picking on the few who don't.
Jimmy hates seeing kids get picked on, especially those who may be too weak to defend themselves. That isn't to say he won't do what he feels is necessary to stop a bully. At the start of the game, you might think Jimmy is a jerk, but you'll come to find out he definitely has a softer side. He's willing to help those in need. For example, he's willing to help the alcoholic English teacher from getting fired.
Let's get rid of this before you get busted.
Very kind of you, Jimmy.
I need you to help me.
He helps Algernon against bullies for only $5. He even pulls some jocks out of a fire. He gets Beatrice's diary back. He takes down the naked posters of Mandy. He does many kind things a selfish person wouldn't normally do. Jimmy is thrown into Bullworth Academy against his will by his gold-digging mom, who ditches her own son for some old rich guy. And as Jimmy states,
Miss, I'm not 5. My mom's been married 5 times and I've been expelled from 7 schools.
so you can tell he has probably had a hard life and has made many mistakes along the way. Right from the start, Jimmy begins to see how toxic Bullworth Academy is.
Time for a beatdown! You're dead, new kid! Dead!
Also, from the very beginning, Jimmy is befriended by Gary, the game's main antagonist. Gary is a bit of a broken record.
Soon this school will be ours.
I don't want the school.
Yeah, well, I do, pal, and I intend to get it. I want to run this school. We are gonna take over this school. I was just telling Petey here about my idea to take over the school.
Forget it.
Early on, you can see what kind of a person Gary is.
I've got a good idea for some fun. Let's go out and torment someone really helpless and unfortunate.
Gary constantly turns the cliques of Bullworth against Jimmy by convincing them Jimmy said some ridiculous things about their mother or the manner in which they conduct their bestiality. By doing this, Gary makes Jimmy an enemy of the cliques. For example, take a look at this exchange between Jimmy and some of the preppies.
Now tell me, Hopkins, is it true you said I was inbred? No, because first cousins is legal, my friend. Legal. Whatever, Tad. Your family is your business.
Don't lie, Jimmy. You said Tad was probably a hermaphrodite with that much inbreeding.
A hermaphro what?
Or this exchange between Jimmy and the headmaster of the school.
And that you've been saying some entertaining things about me and some barnyard animals.
No, I never said that.
Gary will even say something to poke fun at Jimmy's sexuality.
Gary said you're so mad because you're sexually confused.
Yeah, well, Gary talks a lot of crap.
Oh, I know. I don't like him. He likes to torture people.
Jimmy just wants to be a normal kid and have his time at Bullworth go in peace. But of course that can't happen, not with Gary turning everybody against Jimmy. And I think Jimmy begins to realize how much better Bullworth would be if people would stop bullying each other. So Jimmy begins to take on each individual clique to stop the conflict at the school. One by one, Jimmy is able to take over each clique by defeating their leaders in one-on-one combat.
I will beat the rest!
He defeats Russell of the Bullies, Biff and Darby of the Preppies, Johnny Vincent of the Greasers,
Told you, I was the daddy.
and Ernest of the Nerds.
Maybe now he'll listen to me.
And after he defeats them, he asserts his dominance over them, and he tells them their days of bullying are over.
Who's the boss now, my waspy little friend? Answer the question. You are. Louder! You are. Good. So maybe now you'll stop bullying everyone. You work for me now.
So eventually he does rule the school, something he did not want at first. But he uses his power to control the cliques and stop the endless amounts of hazing, bullying, and corruption and senseless violence that goes on constantly at Bullworth Academy.
I'm basking in adulation. I mean, running the school fairly.
Dude, so fairly.
While Jimmy is basking in personal pride and thinking everything is perfect, Gary devises a way to bring Jimmy's reputation stumbling down. With the help of the townies, Gary starts to bring problems to Bullworth Academy. He is able to put the blame all on Jimmy. Those who once put their faith and trust into Jimmy now regard him with contempt. Jimmy becomes the most unpopular kid at the school, and the headmaster decides to expel Jimmy from Bullworth.
Gary Smith! Look, I may have painted a few jokes on the town hall, but that kid likes to torture people.
Before Jimmy completely leaves Bullworth, Gary brings on total chaos and anarchy to Bullworth Academy. Every clique is fighting against each other, all the teachers are gone, the headmaster is tied up, and it's total mayhem. The students are destroying the school, and they've all gone crazy under Gary's influence. And Gary loves all of it.
Gary! Moron!
As he tells Jimmy in their final confrontation, this was all a game to him. This was all fun to him. He just had to do all these evil things to prove he was smarter than everybody.
You are sad, man.
I might be sad, but I run your world, moron, and don't you forget it. You did all my dirty work for me, Hopkins. You're like a puppet, only dumber.
However, Jimmy, with his superior fighting skills, is able to defeat Gary. And throughout all the hardships Jimmy faced during his time at Bullworth, he still showed a great amount of courage and he never gave up. And in the end, he's able to save Bullworth Academy from itself. Apart from Jimmy, there were also a lot of great characters I liked in this game. There's Algie the Pea Stain. There's Johnny Vincent, the jealous leader of the Greasers.
You get it on with that harlot who I love? You're done, kid. Finished!
And there's Mr. Galloway, the alcoholic English teacher.
Hi, Jimmy.
There's also the gorgeous art teacher,
Come on,
Miss
Lionel,
Phillips.
Let's go.
Bye, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you should get back to school.
There's Edna, the dirty cook.
You to go to town and pick up some meat and other things for me. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to put one of Ms. Phillips' cats in the casserole again.
There's also a crazy homeless guy behind the school. He teaches Jimmy some fighting moves. Also, the girls that Jimmy can woo are pretty cool too. There's one main girl that reflects the traits of each clique. For example, Beatrice represents the hyper-intellect of the nerds and their vulnerability. Mandy represents the cruelty of the jocks.
Unfortunately for you, my pig ugly friend, that is exactly what I can do. In fact, I can do anything I like in this place. Anything at all.
Pinky embodies the spoiled and entitled behavior the preppies have.
What's in it for me?
I'm a princess!
Oh.
And I need people to do things for me. So hurry up because I want to be first!
Oh, man.
The only one who doesn't have this representation is Lola of the Greasers. She's just a slut. I loved Bully's story and I enjoyed playing as Jimmy Hopkins. But is this game any fun to play?
Shut up, man. You're boring.
Boring? I'm boring. You're none too interesting yourself, friend.
Will you enjoy stuffing someone inside a trash can? Will you have fun doing bike races for money? Will you have fun knocking somebody out with a slingshot? Is it any fun to beat the hell out of someone even though they don't deserve it? Yes. This game is still as enjoyable in 2020 as it was in 2006. Because the great thing about Bully is there are so many things to do in the game, and it never lets you get bored. All the missions that drive the story forward are extremely varied, so you're not doing the same thing over and over again. One mission will have you sneaking around the girls' dormitory, collecting panties for the perverted gym teacher. Another one will have you urinating the jock's water supply.
That's like totally grody! Yuck!
You get to challenge some of the best fighters in the school to a boxing match.
She's cheating on me, man. I know she is.
One mission will have you catching Johnny Vincent's girl, Lola, being a total skank.
Lola's a bit of a slut,
I
it seems.
knew it! I just knew it!
Out of all the missions in this game, 3 of them were my favorite. My number 1 favorite mission was Halloween. All of the students at Bullworth are dressed up in costume. Jimmy pulls prank after prank. Sticking a kick me sign on somebody's back. Throwing eggs at some students. Putting up exploding fireworks. The final prank of the night will have Jimmy tricking the gym teacher into stepping on a steaming pile of dog crap.
Oh, goddamn kids! Nice one, Jimmy.
My second favorite mission will have you tricking the gym teacher into a porta potty, which goes tumbling down and will have him covered in crap, which is something I think he definitely deserves.
I'll meet you at the carnival tonight. Jimmy, I'm really starting to like you.
My third favorite mission is taking Tinky of the Preppies on a carnival date. And you just feel like a normal teenager in this mission. There's no violence or clique conflict during this mission. It's all about fun and wooing a spoiled rich girl. And winning her a teddy bear she could have bought herself. At the carnival, you are introduced to the many mini-games Bully has to offer. And that's what I like about this game. There are so many challenges and so many mini-games that are very enjoyable. For example, you can do go-kart races at the carnival. You can get on some of the carnival rides for a nice view of Bullworth. There's this one shooting game that's very addicting. You can test your strength. You can watch a freak show, bet on midget boxing. And outside of the carnival, you can do challenges to get safe houses all over town. And even though the world you live in is small, the world of Bullworth is still fun to explore, and there are plenty of items you can collect and plenty of challenges to go through. There's also an almost endless amount of customization you can give Jimmy. You can wear a tuxedo or a ninja suit. You can throw some tattoos on him and make him look like a straight douchebag if you want. You can also give him some hair so he's not bald all the time. These custom outfits look great and can add a certain level of ridiculousness, especially during cutscenes.
See you later, freaks.
You also have the option of taking classes at school, which can upgrade Jimmy's gameplay. You can take English for better taunts and apologies. You can take Shop for better bikes. And Gym to upgrade your fighting abilities. You can also learn a bunch of crazy fighting moves from the homeless guy. You can also take Art for better health bonuses when kissing a girl. Wooing girls is another fun minigame Jimmy can partake in. Instead of giving them money, Jimmy uses flowers and chocolates. And once Jimmy gets good enough, he can woo them with a simple hello. And I can go on and on about every little fun thing you can do in this game, but my favorite aspect of the gameplay is that you can be a total and complete, utter bully. You can shoot down the townspeople of Bullworth with a slingshot. You can even annoy the cops for a little while. You can beat up a snowman and hit somebody with a snowball. You can give multiple wedgies throughout the day. You knock someone out with a firecracker. You shove somebody into a locker. You can start harassing people and then beat the hell out of them.
Hold on, are you job is expected?
You'll knock somebody out with a potato gun. You can blast somebody with a bottle rocket, throw some itching powder on them. If you choose to turn Jimmy into the world's biggest bully, you have to be ready for the authority figures to come after you. The bigger the crime, the more hostile they will become. Also, there are some very messed up things that Jimmy should not do. You shouldn't punch a girl in the face. You shouldn't start a fight with an adult. You shouldn't grab a girl's butt. You shouldn't bully little kids. You shouldn't hit a teacher with a baseball bat. Or take away the janitor's broom and then give him a good smack. But you can, if you want to. Just be prepared for the consequences. Doing all these bad things will earn you a one-way trip to the principal's office, where the principal will blame Jimmy for every little crime that happened in Bullworth Academy, and he'll discipline Jimmy by making him mow the school lawns, which is totally boring and not fun at all. But that's all that happens if Jimmy gets caught. So is it worth being a bully? Of course it is. Every little bad thought that came into my head while playing this game, I of course acted upon it, and it was fun, and I never once regretted it.
Come on, James, just apply yourself a little harder.
My few complaints about this game. My major complaint about this game is also what makes it fun. I feel like the game isn't hard enough, which in many ways can also be a good thing, because the game doesn't get annoying to the point where you have to repeat missions over and over again. You will get knocked out, you will fail missions, but I never had to repeat a mission more than 1 or 2 times to complete it. And there's also a few annoying glitches, especially during the final Gary fight. I had to kill myself 2 times in order for the game to fix itself and let me keep playing. Every day you're also on a time limit. Your day starts from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. And if you're not in bed by 2 a.m., you pass out, and somebody steals your shoes, which can be kind of annoying. But other than that, I had a great time playing this game again. The reason why I like this gameplay so much was because of how violent and how fun it was, and it gives you a freedom I would want from any video game.
Yeah! Oh, Jimmy, you did it! You did it! I'm king of the school! Oh, you beat them all in front of everybody! Thanks for your help, Petey. Oh, this is gonna be great.
I wanted to start my own YouTube channel about video games, movies, and other forms of media that I found important. And I chose to start with Bully first. The reason I picked Bully first was because I knew I would feel a lot of nostalgia once I actually played the game again. Playing Bully again made me remember how life was at 13. Everything was simple. Everything was still a great mystery to me. I was still extremely innocent and naive about life. I love the story of Bully and Jimmy Hopkins. I thought high school might be like Bully, in the sense that I thought I would be going on a bunch of crazy missions, fighting bullies, exposing corrupt teachers, and making out with a bunch of girls. But of course, high school was almost nothing like Bully. There were nerds, jocks, and preppies, but the students I met at my high school were complex, and three-dimensional, and not as violent or cruel or crazy as the students at Bullworth Academy. And I guess that's the only real similarity between my high school and the high school in Bully, is the fact that there were bullies. I got bullied a little because I was a weird skinny kid with long hair and a smart mouth. And depending on who you ask, I still am a bully. However, looking back and after playing this game again, I realized that I wish I had been a better person back then. I wish I could have stuck up for kids when I saw them get bullied. And I wish I had been like Jimmy. He defeated bullies, and he became a better person because of it. And I guess the real reason I like bullies so much was because I got to play as Jimmy Hopkins, the hero I never got to be. This game was definitely worth the time it took to play the game again. I will definitely recommend this game to anybody who's looking for something retro or nostalgic to play. Sadly, there has never been a sequel to Bully, which I feel has been pushed aside for bigger and more popular titles such as Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. There has been a re-release called the Scholarship Edition, with added missions and gameplay dynamics for the Xbox 360, and there is also the Anniversary Edition, which has been added to the Google Play Store and the App Store. So there is no reason in hell you shouldn't play this game. If you like this critique of Bully, please hit the like and subscribe button.